Hi folks, I'm Josh. This is a list of games that do some things better than No Man's Sky. I really enjoyed my time with No Man's Sky, but some people were understandably disappointed. Where No Man's Sky was very ambitious, trying to fit a lot of things into its game, these games focus on one thing that No Man's Sky does, or people thought it was going to do, and they do it very well, in my opinion. So, without further ado, let's get onto the list. No Man's Sky isn't the first game to ever procedurally generate a universe. Space Engine incorporates realistic generation algorithms with real solar systems. So it has recreated our own Sol solar system, as well as procedurally generating an untold number, galaxies worth in fact, of planets, asteroids, suns, and you can explore them at your own pace. It's more of a simulation engine because it lets you, say, compare the size of celestial bodies by lining them up, or you can travel between them at faster than light speeds because they're all at realistic distances. If you do want to explore this game in a spaceship, it does have a mode for spawning and flying around as different kinds of spaceship that you can import or create, which is a neat little feature, but mostly the power and interesting parts of this game are in its kind of scientific side. This may not be the favourite alternative of most of you, however, if you genuinely do like landing on planets, exploring them, and finding out what they have to offer, then Proteus is an option for you because it's all about procedurally generating islands which you can explore as part of a kind of musical landscape as well as a physical one, because each tree, flower, animal has its own musical element, so it all adds up to a soundtrack for that specific island. And if you're worried that there's not enough to explore, then there are changing of seasons which affects the look and the soundtrack, as well as a lot of different secrets, which is something I feel like No Man's Sky was kind of missing. So if you do enjoy finding a planet that you like and staying there, then Proteus is something that you might enjoy. The survival crafting elements of No Man's Sky were kind of lacking and not that difficult. Subnautica, on the other hand, is probably my favourite survival crafting game because not only does it encourage you to explore, to find new and interesting technology to use, every venture outside of your base or your little pod is genuinely dangerous. Any number of things can kill you, like running out of air, getting radiation, or just some giant fish might eat you. And that's not something that is very dangerous in No Man's Sky. Even though those things are dangers in that game, it's quite easy to avoid being killed by them. Because Subnautica makes you travel far from your safe spaces to get valuable resources, there is a real sense of challenge and danger in the game that you just don't get in No Man's Sky. So check it out. It's still in early access, but well worth it. If the sci-fi story of No Man's Sky is something that you're really interested in, then Out There is something you will have to look at because it is almost identical in the way that you do inventory management and survival, and also discover new words for an ancient civilization. It's spookily similar. You do have to mine for resources and create technology to expand the abilities of your ship in the same inventory, but because both the UI is better and there's no faffing around with your own second inventory or anything like that, it's much easier and simpler to organize. It also focuses more on the quality of the writing. I think it's better sci-fi writing personally, but if you're interested in talking with alien civilizations or having random events that can either help you or possibly jeopardize the entirety of your game so that you have to start from scratch and hope that you get luckier next time. Because of this, it's better at telling you the story of your journey. Whether you finished it or not, there will always be things that your friends didn't manage to find because there's a huge number of different events. If you want to read less sci-fi writing, then Into the Stars might be for you. It offers an overarching story where you are a captain trying to get the last humans to a new Earth. However, as you go through the game, most of what you do is manage the resources without some fiddly inventory, and also it gives you a crew to manage with different stats that you can send on missions and collecting more resources, which is really cool if you're more into the Star Trek side of things. Another bonus is that if you're not into the sci-fi book cover look of No Man's Sky, Into the Stars is also really beautiful, but it looks more like Mass Effect, with this awesome exterior camera that you can pan around your ship while you're steering it. No Man's Sky's 3D space combat leaves quite a lot to be desired, if I'm honest. If you're looking for something to shoot in 3D space, then Sub-Level 0 is quite honestly an awesome place to start, because it has really responsive controls and a huge variety of different kinds of weapon that you can either flamethrower your enemies or laser them, all of them working in different ways, so you have to think about your loadout, your ammunition and your energy. It does the roguelike if you die you start again with nothing thing as well, so if that's what you're looking for, then cool. The options to fight or to trade and have the threat of those two things intertwining in a continually evolving universe was a big draw to No Man's Sky for some people. And if you don't want to just play Elite Dangerous, which is also awesome, I recommend Star Sector. It's a top-down combat game where you have to bring your fleet to bear against pirates and various other factions, or you could just potter about as a trader, making lots of money, beefing up your ships, which you can also customize to a ridiculous degree, and then use the experience you gain from all that to upgrade your captains so they're awesome at their particular job. It is still in development, but you can play with those two different playstyles in the current version of the game. I think we all know FTL by now. Hopefully we do. I think I'll just go over what it does better than No Man's Sky. In a similar way to Out There, which I just mentioned, it's better at making you feel like you're going on an adventure. Even though you might eventually play it enough so that you've seen literally every eventuality from all the different possible events, there are still enough of them so that they can come together and really put you in a tight spot if you don't have the right resources, weapons, and overall it makes you feel like your ship is yours because of the way you upgrade it and the crew that you have on board. And I think that's a really important connection to have with something that you've got to defend tooth and nail sometimes when the going gets tough. And it makes the universe feel much more hostile than No Man's Skies does, even though there are constantly things like the Sentinels attacking you. This actually gives you threats to defend against. I'm not sure if this quite fits the theme of this particular list, but I do like the idea of just, in the same way that you slam technology together in your No Man's Sky ship, you can just kind of pop on different lasers and bulkheads and shields and all sorts of weird technology to make some kind of motley spaceship in this. And there are also procedurally generated spaceships that you have to fight against, and they do make a difference. So the shape of them, the weaponry, it is a better procedurally generated spaceship system than the purely aesthetic way that No Man's Sky does it. The ability to play spaceships with your friends is sadly lacking. You do end up leaving your mark on the universe by naming stuff in No Man's Sky. However, There are a couple of games that I want to mention before the end of this video that might fill that gap for you. Worlds Adrift isn't out yet, but from the look of it, it does do that MMO kind of let's all join up, build a ship and visit new and weird places together sort of vibe, either as pirates or as adventurers. It looks like it might do that. But as we've hopefully learned from No Man's Sky, trailers and pre-release stuff is more of a hope for the developer for what they're going to finally create, rather than a promise. Artemis Spaceship Bridge Simulator is way more fun with friends than No Man's Sky will ever be, because you get to be a bridge crew. And someone gets to be the captain, someone's get to be weapons or helm. You each have your own specific job, and together you fight against other spaceships and try your best not to mess up your particular job. It is possible to play it online, but I heartily recommend playing it at a LAN party. So thank you for watching, hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, then subscribe for more indie games and game design videos. If you want to support my work, then I have a Patreon where you can get cool rewards, but until next time, mustache.